Hello everyone, this is Super Comic Girl. Welcome back to my little corner of the internet. So this is going to absolutely be the last review of Star Trek Picard because the series and season is over. I will say that I was absolutely shocked to say the least. So yeah. So this is the last one. You will not get another one. I will be going back to doing mainly comic book reviews, though I will let you know I will not be doing... I probably won't be doing any more Gotham and Titan reviews because I have canceled my HBO Max. I just have too many things that I need to use the money for, and that's not one of them. Also, I have gotten to the point in my life that it takes me a very long time to recover from the nonsense that I got to put up over at my job. So, yeah. And I'm currently reading. So, I am currently reading. So, with that out of the way. So, this is going to be the final review for Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode number 10. The Last Generation, and this is a spoiler filled video. So let's begin. Okay. So yeah. So first of all, I want to say that the Queen is not looking too good. It's just, it was like, it's like a nightmare in some kind of it's just so wrong on so many levels. So, you have Enterprise D, and they're going out there and they are, they're talking about, the ships have gone silent and everything. And what ends up happening is Captain Picard goes in, his crew goes over to Jupiter, and we find this really weird thing about Jupiter. There's a Borg cube inside the gas giant, which should absolutely be impossible when we're talking about the Borg. Yeah, anything's possible with them. I'm going to say something in a couple seconds that I agree. So, yeah. So, they get to Jupiter, get shocked, and sure enough, the Borg cube recognizes the Enterprise and, of course, opens the gates. Yes, because you're so cocky. And they notice there's something really weird about this cube. Weird doesn't even begin to cover how odd this cube is. And so what happens is Picard, Riker, and Worf beam into the cube after Worf makes a very innuendo, like, I'll be the threesome, and Riker's like, do you even hear yourself talk? Seriously, Riker's like, does Worf even know how that comes out as? So they beam over there, and they find a house of horrors. This thing, it is so disgusting. You have, if you have eaten breakfast, please do not watch that episode. Please do not watch this episode. If you are in the middle of eating breakfast, or you have eaten breakfast in the last 5 minutes, do not watch this episode. You may lose it. There's Borg drones, alright. but they're used for food. Just, yeah. I was not ready for that. I was not ready for that. Like, yeah. I don't think Picard was ready for that. But he did a great job in keeping it together. And so they have to go their separate ways because they have to find this conduit that they need to get rid of, and Picard goes to get his son. Now, before they enter the House of Horror, Picard makes it very clear that it doesn't matter the price, we're going to finally be rid of the Borg. And I will say, going way back to season 2, Girardi basically told the Queen that the future of the Borg is annihilation, meaning that someone is going to come around and be able to annihilate them. Going forward to the House of Horrors, it looks like the pathogen. Now, if you guys have ever watched the final episode of the final season of Voyager, you will know that Admiral Janeway infected the Borg with a pathogen. We see the end result of the pathogen. This Borg Queen, who is played by the same actress who played in Voyager and all that type of stuff, she looks like something out of a fucking horror film. I mean, this is not the same Queen that we encountered in First Contact and in the final episode of Voyager. This Queen, this is what happens when you can't assimilate a pathogen. And boy, the pathogen worked really well. Yeah. So Picard encounters his son, who now is wearing the same outfit that he wore. The difference is his skin is still normal, meaning that the ability to be able to do this does not exist, because the Queen is so busy eating her own people. Yeah. She's digesting her own people. Ugh. The pathogen turned her into a cannibal. Just let that line sink in. It's it was a little too much for me. It was this is the main faction of the Borg, not the Girardi one, who are all perfectly healthy. Yeah, Girardi's not eating her own people. Thank goodness for that. It's very different over there. Everything's great over there in Girardi land. This is not Girardi land. This is something out of a horror movie. It was too much. Like, really too much. Like, the whole episode was too much. Oh my god. I tell you something, I was like, I will say this over and over again. I was not ready for, that. So anyways, so Picard says, basically that, screams at her that, you're not her mother, and pretty much I'm thinking in the back of his mind, trying to hold down the desire to throw up, which means Picard's got a strong stomach. He's got that, he has that metal stomach, but his brain's like saying, oh dear God, what the heck happened here? He knows about the pathogen, But he's like, yeah, Janeway, yeah, maybe you should, maybe Starfleet should kind of do a little bit of research before they decide to create something like this. It will make you eat people. It's like, it's just, oh god, it's too much. So, so basically, he forces her to basically start assimilating him again. He has that little fine thing in his neck, and his eyes are black and all that stuff. And because he's now connected to the horror show, he is finally able to get through to his son. And yeah, so he finally breaks free of this collective of horror, and he basically they destroy what's enabling this to happen, and yeah, and they all escape, and the Borg collective is finally once and for all defeated. It's really interesting, minus the horror show that we got. We are actually we actually hear the president of the Federation, who is the son of the original, whose father was part of Kirk's original crew, which I thought was really cool, which means that he is really old. But it was great to see that his son became president of the Federation. I thought that was really cool. I like the idea of shooting crew members with something that automatically transports them to the transporter room, and they all try to like get out of there, and it doesn't work. And yeah, and I just thought the idea was really ingenious and very new, and I like stuff that's not repetitive. And then we find that before Captain Shaw died, before he even encountered Picard and Riker, he did a crew evaluation on his first officer and recommended that she be given the rank of captain. Tuvok, the real Tuvok, goes and tells her, you know, your retirement has been denied, and now she has the rank of captain. So what ends up happening is Starfleet pardons the entire crew. So nobody loses their rank, nobody loses their privilege. They are avoided the Kirk thing. I was talking to my brother a couple of days ago. I said, can I please bet that Admiral Picard is going to become Captain Picard? That they didn't do that. I was really happy to hear that they finally recognized that some rules have to be broken in order to be able to get things done. So he's still Admiral, and surprisingly, Beverly is also an Admiral. So they are both equal in rank, I think. And, you know, Jack finally sees the bridge of the Enterprise D, which I thought was really great. And, yeah, and because of, you know, Jack having all this experience out there in deep space, Starfleet fast-tracked his promotion to ensign. So he became ensign. It's really awesome. And Beverly's like, I cannot believe that you're nervous. And, you know, Jean-Luc is so proud of his son. His son is following his footsteps to go into Starfleet. He's an ensign. He is just gushing with pride and everything. Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is so sweet. The parents are so proud of their little baby boy. I thought it was so cute. It was so cute and adorable. I loved it. And they did not change the uniforms. I'm going to agree. I'm sick and tired of the uniform changes. So his father's like, you never told me what ship you were assigned to, because he left that information out. His mom is like, I know. And sure enough, because Starfleet was so indebted to the Enterprise crew for once again saving their asses, they decided to rechristen the Titan and make it the Enterprise G. The idea that they rechrist, and this has happened before. The Enterprise E was another name, had an original name before it became the Enterprise E. I don't remember what name it was, but Captain Scott was on that one. So yeah. So he reports and he tries to act like that he's the captain, which I think was adorable and funny as heck. And Seven is like off. It's like basically like, get out of my chair. So he is the assistant counselor to the captain, which I thought was an interesting title. And Picard had this emotional moment, like, my baby, he's on the Enterprise, and I'm so happy. It was an emotional moment. He is so proud of how everything turned out. Everything went full circle, and we get the final scene where they are. It's basically a remake of the final scene of the final scene of the final episode of the final season of Star Trek The Next Generation, where they're all together and at the poker table and they're playing poker, and of course Picard wins. Yeah. So now it's like he knows his son is safe. Yes. About that. That is a very unique line. So we get a first ever, has never ever been done on any of the episodes or any of the seasons of Picard. We get a post-credit scene. And it is, so Jack is in his quarters. So apparently on the Titan things are a little bit different. He got his own quarters instead of bunking with the other people. And he pulls out a model of the Enterprise D because that is the ship that saved him. So of course, he's going to have a model of his favorite ship in the whole wide world. His parent ship. And sure enough, Q pops up. John Delancey, we thought he had died in the last episode of the second season of Picard when he sent them all back to their original time frame. No, he didn't. I'm sure he experienced a sort of death, but he's back. And he has his sights set on judging Jack. For some unknown reason, he's now the focal point of Q's obsession. He's obsessed with the Picard family for some unknown reason. Yeah, it's kind of weird. And Q says, well, your father's trial's over, but not yours. Thinking, oh my God, really, Q, really? Do you really have to do this again? Like, is there some kind of sick fascination you have with humanity that you're like, oh, well, Picard's trial's over. Guess what? Oh, there's a son. Yeah, it's like you're a chip off the old block. Someone, please. Please. Oh, Jean-Luc is going to lose his ever-loving mind if he ever finds out that Q faked his death. I don't know if he faked his death, but Picard's like, you faked your death, and I gave you a hug, and it's weird. So now the Enterprise G is going to have to contend with Q. So, so Captain Shaw is dead. He is not coming back, though, but he kind of had a little part in the final episode. But what the heck is Q going to do now? And I've been hearing there's going to be a Legacy TV show that's coming out. And everything. So Q is probably going to pop up in that show. And everything. So I am going to also include one more thing that I just remembered. There's a little shot in the beginning of it that looks like the opening of The Next Generation, but it actually is not. They just I think used the same video or whatever. And Data in this episode is forced to convince his crew that he can make the calculations to get the Enterprise as close to that power source as possible, and he does it. So nobody is ever going to doubt that Data cannot do this. He has proven that he can do it. And I thought that was really cool. And of course, Guidance Bar gets closed down again for some unknown reason. But it was a really great episode. I was hoping to see some of the Voyager crew in that episode. Did not. This was solely the USS Enterprise D, once again, saving everybody's asses. And unlike Kirk, they did reward the Enterprise crew with a full pardon and the Titan being renamed to Enterprise G. And I tell you something, 7 of 9, Captain of the Enterprise, is so good, and I'm glad to see that Jack has come to realize that his father absolutely loves him. He loves this kid so much, and and that love, which is something that the Borg Queen could not understand. Sounds like Voldemort. That is what saved. And and then you have the space dock being attacked and everything, and then they attacked all these major cities and everything. That's what they did. It was their final stand against Starfleet, and unfortunately for them, they ended up getting all killed. So what about the Geronti faction? I know the Borg are still around, but they're a co-op instead of a collective. So they're out there doing Borg stuff, they're exploring and analyzing, and maybe they might. Oh, I hope they don't encounter the worm people, the bug people. I hope, please, the good Borg, please don't encounter them. They're just disgusting. But anyways, on another note, I'd like to say I'm very glad that they didn't have the bug people. I'm really glad. And it was so great to see Beverly in the upgraded Starfleet Medical, where they can finally identify changelings, and sure enough, they did, and it was really awesome. So, it's all over. Picard is over, and now Jack is on the Enterprise, and he's ensign, and we're probably going, if it is the Legacy does have Captain Seven on it, we're probably going to see more of Jack Crusher, which or does he? I think he goes by. I'm going to see if he goes by the name of Jack Picard. They're really cool, but yeah. So I'm just going to check that out. So I'm going to give this final episode 5 stars. It was really great. It was a great, wonderful send-off for the Next Generation crew. I really do think they did do that. And now I feel complete. I do. So, yeah, it was just an awesome ride. I enjoyed every bit of it. And to know that Q's still around just tells me that we're going to have more Q antics in the future. So I will see you guys around, and I'm actually going to, before I end this, I usually say I'll see you around, goodbye, but I'm going to say this. I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch all the episodes of Strange New Worlds that I never watched because the new season is starting in June, and I'm really pumped about that. So only several weeks before we see that, and I really want to catch up with Strange New Worlds so I understand what I'm seeing in Season 2. So I'll see you guys around, and until next time, live long and prosper. Bye.